everyone, and welcome back to the Solo Gamers Club. Tonight we're going to be continuing with our playthrough of Nemo's War. Before we get started with the playthrough, I'd like to apologize to everyone for the delay in getting this second episode posted. Last week Sunday I ended up throwing my back out, and it was absolutely the worst experience I've had in my life. I was pretty much immobilized for 5 days. Every move was a new adventure and pain, as it were. Just terrible. So we're back now, and I appreciate your patience in waiting for this second episode. So far, Nemo was able to find 3 wonders, which is great. That's going to give us 21 victory points. He also found some other lesser treasures, and those are in our collected treasures area. Now, right now, Nemo is in the South Atlantic, and we've done a fairly good job in controlling the number of vessels that are in the oceans. And at the same time, we have a few keep cards that we'll be able to possibly play during this turn. We'll begin the turn by drawing an event card. And the card is revealed to be Loch Ness. It's a test.
Here the thermocline is at only 16 fathoms. Below that, the water temperature is a steady 7 degrees. Near freezing water sinks, creating steam on the surface. But what of the locals' imaginations when seen?
All right, this is a value 9 test. We're able to exert either Nemo or the hull. And it has an adventure value of 2. So that's something we wouldn't mind passing if we could. If we do pass, we're going to gain a notoriety and then gain a hull. If we fail, we're going to skip the rest of this turn's action phase. Remember, you can only save 1 action between turns. All right, well, let's see what we can do about this. Well, this is a 9-point test, and we're able to exert Nemo or the hull. So now we are able to exert either one, both, or none of those resources. Using Nemo would be a definite risk. He's already at down a couple of slots, but I think we'll do it. I'm going to exert the hull and Nemo to get us a +3 dice roll modifier. And here's the roll. Okay, we rolled a 6 plus the 3 is 9, so we've passed it. So we're going to gain 1 notoriety, and then we're going to gain a hull. So we'll move our resources back to where they were, move the notoriety up to 9, and then we get to gain 1 hull. So that'll put our hull back to ship shape. And then this Loch Ness card can be placed into the pass category, and it's going to earn us 2 victory points, so that's great. And now it's our placement phase, so we'll make our roll. And we rolled a 4 and a 5, so we'll be placing vessels in oceans 4 and 5, and the differential is 1, so we'll mark our action point track to 1. So we have to place a ship in Zone 4, it's the South Atlantic, and another one in Ocean 5, the European seas. Well, that's filled up, so the only place we have available is the connection here to the North Atlantic. All right, now we have 1 action point to spend. Now we have a card, a keep card, that's called the Indian Ocean. And that says when the Nautilus is in the Indian Ocean, you may pass it to gain 1 Nemo and 1 notoriety. So I think we're going to try to get to the Indian Ocean to be able to play that card. So I'm going to use our action point to move the Nautilus, and with our hydro drive, it's going to allow us to move up to 2 zones. So we're going to move 1 through the Cape of Good Hope and 2 into the Indian Ocean, and that's going to end the turn. And we'll begin a new round by drawing an event. The card is revealed to be, oh, it's Act 2. All right. All right, now with Act 2, that's our first intermission. Now on the card you'll notice that there are 2 white dice and a black die, so during this sequence we're going to be adding an extra black die when we make our placement phase rolls. And the Act 2 card, first intermission, reads,
I was admiring the magnificent aspects of the ocean when Captain Nemo appeared. He did not seem to be aware of my presence, and began a series of astronomical observations. Then, when he had finished, he went and leant over the cage of the watchlight and gazed abstractly on the ocean.
All right, we have to add the dark yellow reinforcement ship group to the ship draw pool. So we'll be adding these ships to our draw pool. And then in addition, we are to continue play with the next card. Roll 2 dice, 2 white dice, and 1 black die to begin each placement phase. All right, we'll add these ships into our draw bag. And our next event card is Captain Nemo's Thunderbolt. It's a test 8, and we're able to utilize Nemo and the hull.
When the first islander laid hands on the companionway railing, he was flung backward by some invisible power. Lord knows what. He ran off, howling in terror and wildly prancing around.
All right, this is a test 8. We're able to utilize Nemo in the hull. If we pass, we're going to gain a notoriety and collect a treasure. If we fail, we're going to gain 2 notoriety and lose a hull. All right. All right, the card's not worth anything for victory points, but we would be able to gain a treasure and prevent an extra notoriety from being added to us and a loss of the hull. So we're going to try to pass this if we can. It's a test 8. I'm going to utilize Nemo and the hull. It's going to give us a +4 to the roll. And here's our test roll. And we've rolled a 6, plus the 4 is 10, so we've passed it. That's great. Move our resources back to their starting positions, and we've passed it. So we're going to gain 1 notoriety. Move the notoriety up to 10. And we also gain a treasure, so we're going to draw a treasure. And our treasure draw is, that's worth 3. All right, so 3 plus our +1 for our motive will be worth 4 victory points. We'll add that to our collected treasures area. All right, that card was placed into the pass pile, and now we're going to make our placement roll. Now we're going to be rolling that extra black die now, and that will have more ships coming out into the oceans. Here's the roll. All right, we rolled a 1 and a 6. The black die is not used in our action point calculation, so we're going to have a total of 5 actions. So we'll mark our actions up to 5, and we're going to have to place ships in zones 1, 6, and 6. So we'll place a hidden ship in zone 1, and then we have to place 2 of them into zone 6. Zone 6 is filled, and the connections, we can place 1 in the Cape of Good Hope. We'll do that. And the second one for zone 6, looks like we'll have to place that in the Western Pacific, and that's connected through the connection there. All right, now we have 5 actions. All right, our first action is going to be to play this keep card we had, the Indian Ocean. When the Nautilus is in the Indian Ocean, you may pass it to gain 1 Nemo and 1 notoriety. It has 0 victory point value, but the addition to Nemo will be quite welcome. All right, we're going to gain an additional notoriety, moving us up to 11, and we're getting precariously close to that, adding that blue stack of ships. So we might want to try to do some insight actions to lower that notoriety. So we'll place the Indian Ocean card then into the pass pile, and now we have a total of 5 action points. All right, I think our first action is going to be an incite action. It's going to cost us 1 action point. And with the incite action, we're able to exert any one ship resource. I'm going to exert the crew. It's going to give us a +3 modifier. And we are able to exert treasures. This is one of the times we can exert one of our collected treasures, and the value of that treasure is added to the die roll. All right, I think we're going to try this without using one of our treasures. I want to preserve those victory points as much as possible. So we'll make the roll. We got a +3 modifier. We rolled a 6. That's a total of 9. And a 9 on an uprising is a success. Place 1 cube and decrease notoriety by 1. So we're able to place one of these black cubes that we have here on any of the uprising locations that are connected to that sea zone. So I think we will place that in the Abyssinian War. And that's going to decrease the notoriety by 1. That moves us from 11 down to 10, which will help us from getting too close to those blue ships. That's great. All right, we're going to spend another action, moving us from 4 down to 3, and I'm going to do a stalk attack on one of those hidden vessels. All right, we'll draw a ship token and see what we get. And that is another British flagged vessel. It's a clipper, and that's the Ariel. It has a defense value of 9, and it's worth 2 victory points. All right. And I think we're going to exert the crew for +3 modifier, and we'll see if we can take out this vessel. Here's the roll. Rolled a 9, and with our +3, that's 12, so we've sunk the vessel. That's great. Now that vessel has a notoriety value of 1, so we're going to have to raise our notoriety up 1. And I'm a little concerned about that. We're at 11 now. I don't want those blue ships put into the bag quite yet. With this motive, the Explore motive, I don't want to have to face too many of these larger strength vessels if I don't have to. Now this vessel has a victory point value of 2, so I think I would like to place it in the Indian Ocean on the tonnage track for the victory points, obviously, but I want to get some kind of upgrades for the Nautilus, so I think we'll place that in the salvage track. That gives us 2 points of salvage. That would, right now, would allow us to get Nemo's Sanctorum if we choose to. Now the Indian Ocean has a treasure available, so I think we're going to do a search action. So we're going to decrease our actions from 3 down to 2, and we're going to do a search action. And I think we're going to once again exert the crew, so that'll give us a +3 modifier, and here is the roll. We rolled an 8, that's modified to an 11. That's a success, and we're going to be able to collect the treasure. Let's see what we find. Okay. And that is a wonder. The Lost City of Dwarka. All right, now that's worth 7 victory points to us. That is fantastic. So we're going to remove that treasure token from the Indian Ocean, and we'll place that Lost City of Dwarka in our collected treasures area. And that's starting to add up now. Each of those wonders is worth 7 victory points for us. That is fantastic. We have 2 actions remaining, and I think what we'll do is we're going to do another sneak attack. So we'll decrease our actions down 1 to 1, and we'll draw a ship token and see what we find. This time it is a ghost ship, the Mary Celeste. Mary Celeste, it's a wonder, so that's very interesting. All right, we're going to do a sneak attack on the Mary Celeste. And I think we're going to once again expend crew, so that'll give us a +3 modifier. And I forgot last time the sneak attack should have given us a +1, so we'll be getting +4. All right, here is the roll. We've rolled an 11, +4 is 15, and that's more than enough to take out the Mary Celeste. And this one, obviously, we're going to place on the tonnage track. We want to be able to score those wonders seen victory points. So we're going to place that in the Indian Ocean on the tonnage track. Now we have one action point left, so we could remain in the Indian Ocean and possibly go after another prize, or we could move to either the Western Pacific or the Cape of Good Hope or South Atlantic. We have a movement of 2 because of our hydro drive. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to spend our last action and we're going to do a move action. There are some treasures that are still available in the European seas, the Arctic Ocean, and the Eastern Pacific, so we'll try to move towards that direction. So I'm going to move, I think, to the Western Pacific. Yeah, I think we'll move to the Western Pacific. We could have moved to the Arctic Ocean and then try to get that treasure that's there, but I want to clear out some of these hidden ship tokens to make room in the Western Pacific and still get maybe a couple more for our salvage track. All right, that's going to end our turn and we're going to begin a new round. So we'll begin with our event phase. And the card is revealed to be event number 34, Attack of the Giant Squid. And that's a 10 level test, and that will allow us to exert either the crew or the hull.
Just as we were crowding each other to reach the platform, 2 more arms lashed the air, swooped on the seaman stationed in front of Captain Nemo, and carried the fellow away with irresistible violence.
All right, this is a level 10 test, and we're able to exert the crew and the hull, and I think we're going to do that. So our crew should have been moved back to fresh, and I think we'll do that. We're going to exert both of those. That'll give us a +5 to the test. Now this is also a wonder, so that is why I want to try to complete this. All right, here is the roll. And we've rolled a 9, plus the 5 is 14, and that's enough to pass the test. It says pass and collect 2 wonders. So we've not only gained the 7 victory points for the wonder, we're also going to gain 2 treasures, and we're going to draw those right now. All right, the first treasure is retain. Discard to gain 1 Nemo or keep for 4 treasure points. All right, we'll keep that one. And our second one is another retain. Discard to gain 1 hull or keep for 3 victory points. Okay, those are great. I like those treasures. Those help us quite a bit because it gives us the flexibility. If we don't need them, we can use them for victory points. All right, now we're going to make our placement roll. And we have double 4s and a 1, so it's going to be a lull turn. Now, unfortunately, I did not preserve any action points. So first step is going to be to place new ships on 1, 4, and 4. So let's take care of that right now. All right, Ocean 1 is filled. So our options would be to place one in the Arctic Ocean or in the Indian Ocean. And, well, we're going to be going to the Arctic Ocean more than likely, so I'm going to place it there. Then we have to place 2 in Ocean 4. Now that's filled up, and there's no adjoining spaces that have any room. So we'll consult our ship placement priority, and number 1 is a hidden ship in that ocean. Okay, that's not possible. Number 2 is a hidden ship in an adjacent ocean. That's not possible. Number 3, reveal a hidden ship in that or an adjacent ocean. All right, well, that's what we're going to have to do. So we are going to reveal a hidden ship in 4. Okay. And that one is a British flagged clipper called the Taiping. All right. And now we have to do one more placement in zone 4. So we can reveal a hidden ship in either that ocean or in an adjacent ocean. I think we'll do it in the Cape of Good Hope. And that one is British flagged freighter, the Scotia. Has a hull strength of 10, 3 victory points. Okay. Now we don't have any action points available, so this might be a good time to utilize some of our character resources. And I think we're going to utilize our chief engineer. It's going to give us +2 action points. Now, unfortunately, that's worth 5 victory points to us. But I think in this case, with it being a lull turn, we'll do that. We'll sacrifice the chief engineer, and it's going to give us 2 action points. So we'll mark ourselves with 2 action points, and now that this is a lull turn, we do get some action point benefits for it being a lull turn. It reduces the cost of some of those larger actions like adventure, rest, or repair. Incidentally, I forgot to move our resources back to where they should have been. And I think what I'm going to do is do an incite action. I want to move that notoriety track down a little bit. So we're going to do an incite action, and it's going to cost us 1 action. And I believe we are going to exert the crew. That'll give us a +3. All right. All right, this is an incite action, and we're +3. Rolls a 7, and that's modified to a 10. And that is uprising. Place 1 cube and reduce notoriety by 1. All right. So that's going to move our notoriety from 11 back down to 10. Then we're going to place an uprising cube in one of those uprising areas that are attached to the Western Pacific. And I think we will use the Tientsin Massacre. All right. Actually, I just discovered I made an error. This is a lull turn. Now, we don't use, the black die does not count in ship placement during lull turns. So the one that we placed in the Arctic Ocean for Zone 1, that we can remove. We'll put that back in our hidden ship area. And then also, we have to check uprising cubes and receive, check uprising cubes. So part of that lull turn is to place a treasure in the doubles ocean. So that would have been in 4. We'll place a treasure there. And then also we have to check for our uprisings. Now we had one in the Indian Ocean. So how we do that is we have to add the number of uprising cubes and every revealed ship token in that ocean and roll a d6. If the result is greater than or equal to the sum, the imperialist power's efforts fail and there is no effect. Well, there are no revealed ships in the Indian Ocean, so we've only got the 1 uprising. So it would be impossible for us to roll less than a 1, so we won't need to roll for that. And that's going to complete that lull turn portion. I did that out of sequence, I apologize. Now we have 1 action left, and I think we're going to spend that and do an attack, and that'll be a stalk attack. All right. So we'll draw a ship token and see what we get. This one is revealed to be, oh, it's a yellow one. Confederate raider, the Shenandoah. All right. Now, as this is a stalk attack, it gives us the option to not go ahead with the attack if we choose to. Now, this Shenandoah has a combat value of 8, and the Shenandoah is going to attack us first, and then we would have the chance to attack the Shenandoah with a hull strength of 9. Now, this has a warship value of 1, so that isn't going to help us very much, and it's going to add 2 notoriety to the track. So, but I hate leaving those warships roaming the seas. Now, those warships end up affecting us for these adventure card tests. It says -1 if any warship present, so that's even when we're resolving these tests of the adventure cards. So I think we're going to have to just go through with the attack. So we'll begin with the Shenandoah firing at us. And here's the Shenandoah's attack on the Nautilus. Roll is a 6, so that means that the Shenandoah has damaged us. So we're going to suffer a number of hits equal to the lower of the 2 dice. In this case, it's a 1, so we're going to suffer 1 hit. And how we resolve this is we're going to make a d6 roll that'll tell us the random damage based on the die roll, and that resource will be reduced by, in this case, 1. Roll is a 4, and that's going to be the hull. So we're going to move from ship shape down to fighting trim. And now it's the Nautilus's turn to attack the Shenandoah, and I think we're going to expend our crew for a +3 modifier. Its hull strength is a 9. Now we're also going to gain a +1 for the stalk attack. Okay, so we're +4. Here's the roll. Roll is a 7. That's modified to an 11, and we've sunk the Shenandoah. That is great. Now, unfortunately, that is going to move the notoriety up by 2, so that'll move notoriety up to 12. Now we're quickly approaching that blue stack of ships there. All right, now we have to decide what to do with the Shenandoah. Now, we already have a prize in the West Pacific, and the fact that the Shenandoah is a warship, it's going to have 0 value to us. I think we're going to place that into the salvage track. Now, we've got 3 salvage points there. That's going to allow us to purchase now the Clockwork Cipher. Once during each action phase, you may flip any one revealed ship token in the Nautilus Ocean for free. All right, that's pretty interesting. Now, that Clockwork Cipher is also a wonder that would end up giving us 7 victory points. That's definitely something that I would like to consider. I think, though, the reinforced armor would be something I'd want to get first. That would give us a +1 dice roll modifier to all attack dice rolls. So I think we'll work towards getting the reinforced armor first, and then we'll work on the Clockwork Cipher later. All right, we've used all of our action points, so we're going to continue with a new round now, and we'll start with the event phase, and we'll see what our event is. And the card is revealed to be Event 9, an underwater forest. It's a 9 strength test, allowing us to exert Nemo or the crew.
Captain Nemo invites Professor Aronnax on a hunting trip that will take place tomorrow morning in his Crespo Island forest.
All right, now this event has a adventure value of 0, so it's not that important. If we pass it, we would collect 2 treasures. If we fail, nothing would happen. Well, those 2 treasures would sure be nice. So I think what we're going to do is we will exert the crew and Nemo. So, once again, I forgot to move our crew back. So the crew will be at exerted and Nemo, giving us a +5 to the test. Normally, I'm a little leery to exert more than 1 resource at a time. In the event some catastrophe happened, we would lose quite a bit. But we do have Conseil, and he would allow us a reroll, so it gives us a little bit of safety. All right, we're going to make our test. It's a 9 strength test, and we'll be adding a total of 5 to the result. We rolled a 7, that's modified to a 12, and we've passed an underwater forest. Pass, we'll place that into the pass column, and we're going to collect 2 treasures. That's great. All right, so we'll place that card in the pass area, and we'll draw our treasures. And the first one is a retain. Discard to gain 1 reroll or keep for 4 treasure value. All right, we'll do that. We'll keep that. That's a good one. And the second one is treasure worth 3. So in our case, that would be worth a total of 4 with our motive bonus. All right, we'll add that to our collected treasures area. So we're slowly building up some very nice collected treasures. That's great. And now we're going to make our placement roll. All right, we have a differential of 1. So we'll move our action points up to 1. And we have to make placements in oceans 1, 2, and 4. So we'll place a hidden ship token in 1. That's where we are. In 2, it's the Eastern Pacific. And once again in 4. Now 4 is completely filled up. So going to our ship placement priority, we can reveal a hidden ship in that or an adjacent ocean. So I think we will reveal the ship in Cape Horn. Let's see what we've got there. And that one is, and that's a Deadly Seas token. And that says discard and lose 1 character if available. All right, so we have to discard 1 character if available. All right, let's take a look at our characters. Now we do have these tokens that we have on the first officer. One of them is lucky, and that says roll a d6 after sacrificing this character. And on a result of 4, 5, or 6, we would not have to flip the character tile. Now that's a risk, because if we do lose the first officer, we're going to lose both of those upgrades that they have. I think we're better off probably taking Ned Land as the casualty. Now, unfortunately, his demise is going to give us 1 notoriety, moving us up to 13, but I think that's what we'll do. So the notoriety will move up to 13, and we're 1 away from those blue ships entering play. Now, consulting the optional rules for the Deadly Seas expansion, it says that the hidden ship token, which would have been revealed, is not. Instead, it remains in play undisturbed on the map. So that is the result of drawing that Deadly Seas token. Okay. Now we have 1 action available, and I think I'm going to attempt an insight. I want to try to get that notoriety down before we add those blue ship tokens to the pool. So what we will do is we're going to do an insight action. Now it says here we can exert any 1 ship resource. We can spend any 1 spent treasure token for its victory point value, giving us that much dice roll modifier. And it will be -1 per uprising cube already in that ocean. So we would be at -1 right now. I think what we're going to do, I want to pass this, so we're going to use we're going to expend the crew. And I'm also going to spend 1 of our treasures, I think. It gives us a +3. And I think we're going to expend a +4 treasure. That'll give us a total of +7 -1 for the existing uprising. That'll be a +6 for us. So we'll give it a roll and see what happens. All right, so we're at +6. We rolled a 5 plus 6 is 11, and that says that the uprising will allow us to place 1 cube and decrease notoriety by 1. All right, we'll place an uprising cube in the Shogun Rebellion. And we're going to decrease our notoriety by 1. I was hoping we could get a little bit more than that, but we didn't. So notoriety will slide down to 12. And that's going to be all of our action points, and we'll start a new round. Now this token that we spent towards the test is removed from play. So we'll start a new round, and here is our adventure card. And that one is Event 81, Nemo's Telegraph, and that's a play card.
When one of Nemo's agents wished to communicate an arrangement of lanterns in a 1-3-1 N pattern, similar to 5 pips on a die, beckoned during the nights, and a landing party would parley.
Now we have to play this card. It says we fail it and draw a number of treasures equal to the number of available characters tiles plus the number of placed uprising cubes in the Nautilus's ocean, if any. Keep only the retain and ally tokens. Return the others to the treasure cup. All right, so that is going to give us a total of, we have 3 available characters, and we have 2 uprisings in that ocean, so that would be a total of 5 draws. And we can only keep, though, the retain and ally tokens. All right, we have to place the card in the fail category. All right, we're going to draw our 5 treasure tokens. And here's the first one, and that is a retain. Discard for 1 action or keep for 2 treasure. All right, we will keep that. That's good. Here's our second one, and that is a 4 value treasure. We can't keep that. Here's our third one, and that is a discard and draw 2 treasure tokens. Now we can only keep retain and ally tokens, so we can't keep that. And that is our third. This is the 4th token, and that is a retain. Discard to reveal 1 upgrade or keep for 3 treasure. All right, we'll keep that. That is great. And here's the final draw for that Nemo's Telegraph. And that is a 1 value treasure. So those 3 are going to go back. We did manage to pick up 2 retain tokens, so we'll place these back in the bag for a future draw. Here's our current collection of our retain tokens that we have, and I really enjoy these because it gives us the option of, if we need them, to use them for the discard action, but if we don't, it's a lot of extra victory points there. So that is pretty good. And now we're going to make our placement roll. And once again, it's another Lull turn. And we've got a triple 3. So those are all going to be placed in the North Atlantic. So we have 0 action points. Now, as this is a Lull turn, we don't have to utilize the black die. So we only have to actually place 2 ship tokens in the North Atlantic. All right, I think what we're going to do is we're going to place 1 in the Arctic, since the North Atlantic is filled up, and we'll place the second one in the European seas. All right, now this is a Lull turn, so we have no action points. I didn't save any from the last turn. So we could expend our second officer. That would give us +1 action point. And we might end up doing that. Let's take a look. Well, the problem with that idea is we would lose his mechanic ability, which would be discard to cancel all hull losses from 1 occasion. And so, well, yeah, I think we're going to pass on that. We have a retain action, discard for 1 action or keep for 2 treasures. I think we'll use that. So we're going to get rid of this retain token, and that'll gain us 1 action. So we'll place that token in the discarded treasures area, and I like to invert those just to not be confused by them. So that's going to award us 1 action. All right. Now we have a couple of options now. Since this is a lull turn, we can try to utilize some of that bonus we get for costs 1 on a lull turn. I was thinking about doing a repair action, and that would be able to move up our hull, and in turn we would gain a few extra victory points and just making the hull overall stronger. Now we have a card. I don't know if this can be played, but it's that card that the science officer card. It says that we get a +1 dice roll modifier for any and all test rolls, including ship attacks that award science. Now, if we were to move that hull track up, that does award us a science bonus. So I don't know if that would be able to be played or not. It would make sense if the science officer was in charge of the repairs. You'd think it would make it easier to perform that. So I'm not quite sure if that is true or not, though. It does say that it's all tests that award science, and technically that would be awarding science, but I think what we'll do instead, I want to try to get my 4th salvage point, and we're going to make a sneak attack, I think. So we're going to spend our 1 point and make a sneak attack in the Western Pacific. I want to keep those ships from building up too much, and then plus get our salvage. So we're going to draw a ship token, and this one is a British mail ship, the City of Adelaide. Has a 2-point value with an 8 hull value. All right, so I think what we'll do is we are going to expend the crew. It's going to give us a +3. We'll get +1 for our sneak attack, giving us a +4. And if we're able to take this prize, I'm going to add that to the salvage track. Okay, here is the roll. And we've rolled a 4. +4 is 8. And that's just enough to claim the City of Adelaide. Now, unfortunately, it's 2 notoriety, and there's not much I can do about that. So we'll have to raise our notoriety up. It's going to go up to 14, and those blue tokens now are going to be added to the ship bag, unfortunately. All right. And I think we're going to add that to our salvage track. Now that gives us a total of 4 salvage points, and that will eventually allow us to get that reinforced armor, and I think that's what I want to do. And that's going to complete the turn, and I think I'm going to end the video here. This will end our 2nd episode of our playthrough of Nemo's War. And I'd like to invite everyone back for our 3rd episode, and hopefully it won't be with such a delay as we had between the 1st episode and the 2nd. Thank you so much for joining me at the Solo Gamers Club, and I hope you're enjoying this series. I look forward to seeing you again in the near future, and in the meantime, have a nice day.